A man named Nidus woke up on the cold ground, the sensation of it prickling on his arms and face. His eyes fluttered open, but the world around him was hazy and dim. There were no colors, no memories, only a silence that seemed to live on its own. He rose to his feet, feeling weak, as if he had run a long distance, though he couldn't remember when. He looked around. Only thick forest, its shadows distorted like something from a dream. A breeze whispered softly through the treetops. Who was he, and why was he here? No answers, no memories, only emptiness, as frightening as it was strange. He ran his hands through his hair, but nothing about himself felt familiar. He wondered if someone came. He wouldn't even be able to tell them his name. He decided to move, though he had no idea where to go. Perhaps, he thought, a new place would bring answers. The walk felt long, though the distance wasn't great. At the edge of the forest, he noticed a small stream, its water flowing clear like a little secret. His stomach growled, and although he couldn't remember the last time he had eaten, he felt the hunger was genuine. He rejoiced in this. At least there was something unknown, yet pleasant, reminding him that he was still alive. Nidus went to the stream and drank. The water was fresh and cool, and as he lifted his head, he noticed two elderly women standing near a tree. Elderly woman 1, "You are not alone," one of the women said, smiling as if a secret was hidden in the corners of her lips. Elderly woman 2, "The water is not always what it seems," the other added, gazing at the flowing stream as though it danced to the rhythm of time. Nidus stared at them for a moment, then walked closer. "Nidus, could you tell me who I am?" he asked desperately. At that moment, the world seemed to shrink, but the women didn't respond with words. They simply nodded, and one of them handed him a stone that glowed with a faint radiance in the rising sunlight. Nidus felt warmth in the stone. His fingers melded into it as if it were his own part. Elderly woman 1, "It's the beginning, but it's also the end." He had no idea what this meant, but at the same time something old and familiar stirred within him, memories he hadn't consciously recorded. As he lifted his gaze, he noticed that dark clouds had gathered at the edges of the forest, moving quickly like a streak of lightning across the sky. It came fast, and in one instant, a storm broke out. Suddenly, everything changed. The air grew heavy, and the rain lashed against him, forcing him to run. Everything around him seemed to surge forward, and he sought shelter in the nearest cave. Inside, he found himself facing someone. In that moment, he realized that this person was no stranger. It was him, his reflection, but not in a mirror. This was his other self, someone he had never met. Reflection. "Do you remember who you are?" "Nidus." "No," Nidus replied, a smile, subtle but filled with something important. Reflection. "You are everything you haven't forgotten." Those words circled in his mind, and in that instant, everything became clear. He had been lost, but never gone. He had been on a journey to find himself. The storm subsided as quickly as it had started. When Nidus returned to the forest, his eyes met a woman standing by the edge of the stream. Heart skipped a beat because this woman was none other than the one who had been the first and only love of his life. "Woman, I haven't forgotten you," she said, stepping toward him, and Nidus smiled. In that moment, there was no emptiness, no darkness, only them together, hand in hand.
Almost half the night at the construction site, smiling with